Hello, my name is Vince Paradise. I'm the head of our mould, die and complex machining groups at Siemens PLM Software. And I'm going to talk to you about a new application we're introducing with NX11 of NXCAM. This is our NXCAM robotic machining software, which is a combination of proven technology from our Technomatics suite with NXCAM our machining software. The reason for combining these two together is that there's a requirement to be able to program robots to follow very precise paths, where we control not only the position of the tool being held by the robot, but also the angle relative to the part. And so we have that ability in NXCAM. We took the technology from our robotics software, combined it with what we had inside our CAM system to produce NXCAM robotic machining. Now, the kind of applications this is appropriate for will be things like deburring a part, for example, after machining. Today that's typically can often be a manual task in a hazardous environment, maybe for polishing applications or for lightweight drilling and milling applications. Now, we aren't going to replace full-size machine tools for typical roughing or other milling applications, but this does open up a whole range of application areas for us where we do want to follow these very precise paths and use robots. So the advantage of us putting this into NXCAM is that we're working in a full 3D solids environment, so we can build models of the robots in full solid in assemblies. We can use the CAM software to give us checks on for collisions, for example, using the simulation capability that's inside NXCAM as standard. And in fact, for an NXCAM programmer, this is a very natural product to use because it works and looks exactly like the existing CAM software. But now I can program a robot instead of programming a machine tool. We can add extra axes. So for example, with a typical machine tool, we're only needing to go up to 5 axes typically. But once we bring the software in from the robotics environment, we can go up to 6 or 7 or even more axes. And the reason for that might be that the part's being held on a device called a positioner. So the part is being moved in a number of axes relative to the robot, giving us an extra degree of flexibility in how we work around the parts. That might add another 1 or 2 axes. Or we might put the robot onto a rail system, again adding extra axes as we control the position of the robot relative to a large part, giving us the ability to work in a very large envelope on much larger parts than we would get inside a typical machine tool environment. Now, the benefits of the system, because the robot's typically less expensive than an equivalent type of machine tool, flexibility in terms of the reach and the kind of part we can work with, for example. I can put the robot into a hazardous environment, which perhaps in the past I would have to use a human to do, like a deburring application I mentioned before. Repeatability, again, as opposed to using a human, even though I have a very skilled human operator, I still can get a higher degree of repeatability if I use a robot that I program and use over and over again for the same task. In terms of the type of robot, the makes, ABB, KUKA, very well-known robot types, and also robots controlled by Siemens Cinemeric controllers are available and supported in this NX11 release of NXCAM Robotics. Looking to the future, what this software may allow us or will allow us to go into is using the robot for 3D printing, where the robot holds a 3D printing or deposition device which we can move in multiple axes relative to the components. So opportunities for the future, but for now we're very excited to introduce NXCAM robotic machining in NX11.